I used to chase goals that only led to burnout and disappointment until I started setting them with God. If you've ever set goals that crushed your confidence because they didn't happen, I'm speaking to you today. Because the world has told us to just believe in ourselves, but what if that was the very thing keeping you stuck and striving? Let me show you how to set goals with God, not against Him. Now, as someone who has been heavily into personal development and self improvement for most of my adult life, I was under the false belief that my goals, it was all up to me to make them happen. If I could just force myself to make me believe more in myself, I would make it happen. But what I've come to learn is that God did not create you to carry the pressure of results and outcomes. Your job is to simply get clear on the vision, take consistent action in faith, right? This is the obedience part. And you trust Him to take care of the rest. You trust Him to take care of the outcomes and the results. And this was such a huge revelation for me because I was under the impression that I had to do all these things to make it happen. Like my whole life, I have always been trying to control outcomes, trying to, do things in this certain way so that I can see that result. Like I was using so much of my own strength and might and mental energy, and it was just so exhausting. And for you guys who are new here, hello, I'm Lauren Keys, and I left New Age Manifestation in 2023. And ever since leaving all that deception and coming and just doing life with God, He has just surprised me in ways that I'm just like, wow. So we were able to sell our home for well over 7 figures. Then we were able to find our perfect next home. My daughter got a spot at a really, really great school, which was looking like it was not going to happen. Anxiety healed. My husband got saved without me even trying to like force him to go to church or like, do the whole pressure, like you need God in your life. Like there was none of that. He literally decided one day he wanted to come to church with me and he gave his life to Jesus that day. And I was like, oh my gosh, God, wow. So I am really excited to see what else God has in store for me and my family this year. And yeah, my trust levels in Him have just skyrocketed. And I'm just learning more and more each day of how great He is and how much He actually wants to take care of us. So this is a brand new journey for me, walking with God in all areas of my life. Even this YouTube channel, it's taken a new direction. And yeah, it's all brand new journey for me. And if that's something that you want to stick around for, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. So let's get into the video. The trap of hustle culture. So most of the content that you see online is rooted in this fear-based hustle culture. Like you've got to push, you've got to force to make it happen. Otherwise you're going to miss out. You've got to post 4 times a day. You've got to keep up with all these algorithm changes. And it's like, you've got people throwing these extravagant income claims of how much they made into your face all the time, which makes you feel so behind. Then you've got like, all this stuff out there that makes people just become so obsessed with views, likes, followers, subscribers, and it's just also draining and exhausting. This hustle culture, when you give into it, all it does is deplete you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, and it makes you dependent and reliant upon yourself, and you totally leave God out of the picture. So how do we set goals with God? So put simply, we get clear on the vision, on the goal. We make sure that it aligns with God. So is it something that you are pursuing because of purpose or you're trying to prove yourself? And the most important part here is invite God into the goal. Then what you want to do is map out your action plan, like a mini action plan just for the next 3 months. Then you show up in faith. You take that consistent action. So, this is the obedience part. So, when things are looking slow, when it looks like nothing is happening, when the views are low, when there's no sales, you keep showing up with that consistency and that faith, and you let go of the results, you let go of the outcomes. You leave all that to God. That's his job, not yours. And when it comes to timelines, in traditional goal setting, we are told to have a specific timeline. And this can work in some cases, but if you're trying to build like a long-term business, right? Maybe it's starting a YouTube channel, building a brand, starting a coaching business or something. I would highly recommend that you let go of the time frame that you think it should happen, because this is a very painful experience to go through, where you really want it to happen before this time frame and you try so hard to make it happen before this date. It doesn't happen. And then how do you end up feeling? You feel like a failure. You feel like, oh, maybe this is not for me. Maybe I should try something else. And so that's why I'm going to recommend here to just let go of your timelines and your time frames. One of the biggest things that God had to break off me was this pressure that I would put on deadlines. Like for my whole adult life, I would always have these specific deadlines, and no wonder I was always feeling so discouraged and disappointed, because I was trying so hard to make something happen on my terms, in my timeline, and that's not how God works. What I've realized is God is never late, he's never early, he's right on time. And this comes back to the whole trusting and surrendering and just totally letting go of your way of thinking, your way of how it should be. Like, just let it go. So now I just want to expand on what I just spoke about. So you do not worship results, okay? Obsessing over the result is actually a form of idolatry, right? Constantly checking to see how many views, likes, or followers you are gaining or losing, then assume it's not working based off that. What you got to realize is that things are moving and happening in the spiritual realm, even though you can't see it with your eyes. You do not force yourself to create from a place of fear and desperation for money. This only creates chaos and exhaustion. And in this state, you're not able to hear guidance from the Holy Spirit clearly. You do not pivot to another idea just because things are looking slow at first. I'm guilty of this. You do not spend your day scrolling to see how others are creating their success or what other methods they are claiming makes them lots of money. This is a distraction. Now let's talk about what you do. You do surrender the goal to God, detach, and let him take care of the results and outcomes. You do show up with consistency in faith, knowing that every piece of content that you are putting out there, it is doing something good for you. It is multiplying your efforts, your harvest in the unseen realm, even though it looks like nothing is happening right now here in the physical, in the natural realm. So today I had a little bit of a moment, and I've been feeling like this for the past few days, and it's got to do with the new direction that my YouTube channel is going in. So most of my subscribers are here for Etsy and digital product tutorials, and the new videos that I've been making, they have not been getting as many views as my previous videos. And so I would be, constantly looking at, how many people have viewed it, like who's commenting. And I just started to feel really discouraged, because I was like, it just seems like things are moving really, really slow for me. And so for me to show up and create this video today was actually really challenging for me. And I had to really just have that courage to just show up and do it anyway, because I've committed to doing this. I just wanted to share that with you. So you do let go of your time frames, your ways of how you think this should all happen. You do listen to the whispers of the Holy Spirit for those divine strategy moves. You do stay laser focused even when all those other tempting business trends pop up, because they will, and they will try to distract you. You do work from peace, not pressure. So you're no longer performing for validation to be worthy or good enough. Faith without works is dead. So you are required to do your part. So post the content, share the offers, follow up with leads, but you no longer let your worth, your emotions, or your identity like rise and fall on how many views you got or how much money, came through or didn't come through that week. And this here is important, and I want to talk about this for a bit because this right here is where most streamers stop. They don't see what they want straight away, so they are comparing their post to how somebody else's post is doing. So they're comparing themselves to other people, and they get upset because they don't make the sales straight away, and they just stop and they wonder where God is. They want to pivot, they want to try something else. Maybe this is not, what they're meant to be doing. And I have been here, and I have just had such a huge wake up call in my life that I just have to get over all the vanity metrics, all the excuses, all the perfection, all the comparing, and just start leading myself again. Because somewhere in between getting lost in all that new age manifestation stuff, being a mother, feeling so lost for a very long time, not seeing my coaching business take off in the way I wanted it to years ago, it really left me in a discouraged place. And right now, like I said before, it's challenging for me to want to do this video because I really didn't want to do it, but I'm committed to it, so I'm going to keep going. Now, whether you're stuck in your head and just need help setting clear goals, or you're ready to finally get clarity on your business direction and start earning from what you already know, I've got private coaching options to support you. Both are very affordable, they are high impact and designed to help you stop overthinking and actually start moving. You can check the link in the description area below to see what's open right now and grab your spot. So let's move on to the practical framework of what this would look like. So the goal setting with God practical framework. So it could look like this: prayer and pause. So ask God what he wants for this season. Have a purpose check there. Like, is this goal rooted in purpose or proving? Write the vision. Partner for the process. So don't be alone. Don't isolate yourself. Invite God into the goal and get into a community to help support you with that. So in faith, reap in season. So trust the process. And here's the mindset shift to really lock in. So striving, which is all about control. It's I have to hustle to make it happen. If this doesn't perform, I've failed. I can't rest until results show up. And surrender, okay, obedience. I show up, God brings the fruit. If I obeyed, I succeeded. I can rest knowing God is moving. So when we set goals with God, we are no longer striving in all our own strength and might. We are resting in him, knowing he's moving behind the scenes, even when it seems like nothing's happening, no one's watching, no one's liking, no one's buying his stuff. So keep watering that goal with consistency. Then comes the increase, the harvest, the results. Something that I personally have been experimenting with lately too is letting go of specific number goals. Like, instead of clinging on to, I want to have 100K subscribers by the end of the year, I don't add a deadline or a time frame to my goals anymore. And this truly has taken so much pressure off. It's like I'm just steadily taking consistent action in peace, in faith, and I'm just letting it happen on God's timeline instead of mine. And yeah, there's just a lot of peace that comes with that. If you've got any questions or, you've got thoughts on what I've just shared, let me know in the comments. And if you want more content like this, hit that subscribe button. And if you are just stuck in your head, you've got so many ideas and you want to hear from God, check out this video here.